Today we're making old-fashioned fall decor. Keep watching. I'm Brandy, and this is Making It My Own DIYs. Welcome. First is going to be a Thanksgiving or fall centerpiece. This is where I got my inspiration. I thrifted this piece. It looks like it came from Hobby Lobby in 2016. Some Dollar Tree ribbon. And I'm really just trying to find some ribbon that's going to match the colors that are in that little sign. And then this one. I've got a variety of leaves. And then also some that are kind of green and taller. These two pumpkins that I thrifted. This one is foam. Got some damage, but I'm not really worried. I mean, natural pumpkins have dents and bangs too, right? And then this one is actually plastic, and it said platform on the sticker, but I'd already taken that off. It is hard, so there's no way I'm going to put a dowel rod all the way through it. So I just thought, let's get the Gorilla Glue and see if this will work. So I put it in there and kind of forced it down into the little glue gun to make sure that it was really flooded and I had a good amount here. It is flat, there's no lip, so it should grab hold to the little dimples in that other pumpkin, the foam pumpkin, and it should stick together fine. So I wanted to see if this was going to work for me, and I am very pleased to report that yes, it did absolutely just fine by itself. Now ideally, if you've got some damage to one of your pieces, you might want to consider putting that in the back, but since it's a centerpiece, you know, we want all sides to be pretty or presentable anyway, right? So thankfully this sits right on top, and because it is a sign, it already has a bottom on it, and that is going to help us to put this down flat on the top. I'm just using my double stick tape. Press it down. You can call this alien tape or nano tape, just depends where you buy it. I get mine from TEMU. I do have that in the description box below if you want to look at the pricing there, because it's the cheapest place that I have found it so far. I'm also going to take my hot glue and add just a little bit, because you know on the top of the pumpkin it has a little indentation. So I'm just going to add a little bit there so there's no gap. All right, and everything's sticking together well, no problem. So I am going to start on a bow. Obviously, if you're not a person who likes a bow, you do not have to use one. But I think if you're doing this for Thanksgiving and you're having guests coming over, that a bow just makes a pretty presentation. But like I said, completely up to you. Look at all these together. I love that color. It has been a couple of years now where I've really liked the way that blue looks with the orange and cream colors for Thanksgiving. I did a sweater pumpkin with some blue in it, and I really loved it, and I had a lot of nice responses for it, so I decided I would use those colors. They look nice with the sign, and we're going to give it a whirl again and see how y'all like it. So I will cut two 18-inch pieces of each one of these ribbons, and then I'm dovetailing my ends. If you don't want to dovetail, you don't have to. You can cut on a slant, totally up to you. This just gives it a little more, you know, I don't know. It just makes it look a little more finished and deliberate, right? Okay, so once those are all done, I'm going to take a pipe cleaner and put these together. Now for this particular one, we are going to do a funky bow, or sort of a play on a funky bow, I guess. Because rather than folding it all the way to the end, we're going to fold it a quarter of the way. And then I'm going to grab it right above where it ends and place it tightly between my thumb and my forefinger. You can see the ends there. You want to make sure that they're there, otherwise your bow's going to come apart. And I'll do the same thing with each one, folding it down, pinching it to the middle, and then pressing it right in there. This is what you do for this type of bow until you got your hands full. I like to alternate my patterns back and forth, and obviously if you have a pattern ribbon like we do on the pumpkin one here, you want to make sure you have it in the correct direction, unless it doesn't bother you to be upside down, or you know, if your tails are upside down and you're okay with that, then hey, I'm okay with that. After all, it's yours and you need to make it your own, right? That's right. Go with your gut. Go what feels right and brings you joy. And it would bring me a lot of joy if you would subscribe to this channel. I enjoy so much encouraging you to do things, to think outside of the box, to make your home beautiful on a budget, and just really not feel like you need permission from anybody to do that, right? You just really don't need permission from anybody. You don't need anybody to tell you it's okay. If you think that it's great, then it's great. That's all you need. Okay, so now I've got all my little bows. I'm just kind of making sure that all the little loops are about even in height. I haven't let go of that. I'm still holding it. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner, hold it in my fingers and around my thumb, and then I'll feed this through here. If you let go, you might lose your loops. So just keep holding on with that one hand, and you can definitely do it. It may take some practice, but you can. And you can also use a clamp to hold it if you need to do that. A clamp, a clip, whatever you have. Now I'm going to cut off the excess once it is nice and tight. Then I'll turn my bow upside down and flip out each of those tails. I want to try to make sure that the pattern side is up. That's important. If you have a pattern ribbon, it's one-sided. Make sure the pretty side is facing the table, right? Not towards you, but the table, because when you flip it over, then it's going to be up. Now, y'all just don't even know. This ribbon with this open weave like that, it's very pretty, but dovetailing is just, it's a mess. That probably should have been just cut straight off, but you know, I'll make it work. Now, I'm just going to take those loops on the bow and squish them all out. The beauty of that lovely wired ribbon is that when you put it in place, it generally will stay there. It'll hold that form and be nice and loopy and pretty for you, just like that. So then you can go in there and fix up anything you need to fix up. This was driving me nuts. I could not find a way to cut it that looked decent. It just looks crazy. It just looks plumb nuts, doesn't it? I just keep working with it too, y'all. Just keep working with it. All right, so now I'm going to take a little piece of a floral stem, because I saved these, and I'm just going to use my little jewelry pliers here to kind of put like a foot on this. I'm going to bend it and then make a little foot, like a little stand, and I'll put this right down into this bow because I want this bow to be on a pick rather than tied down. If you want to tie it, you can though. Totally up to you. Hey, for information on the Crafty Cruise getaway, you know I wasn't going to let y'all forget. It's down there in the description box below. Still got room? I would still love to give you a hug. All right, we're going to set that aside and let that glue sit up. And I will start working on this centerpiece. Now, I like these leaves. These are oak leaves. It was in a pack, and I'm pretty sure these came from Hobby Lobby last year on clearance. I'm pretty sure. There's like a greenish yellow, a darker orange with a lighter orange, and then sort of a yellow and light orange together. It's a bunch of variety in there. And I'm trying to make sure that I kind of space them out. This is your friendly reminder that you are not alone. It's important to me to let you know that every single time that we talk, every single time that we have an opportunity to meet up on these videos, that you are not alone, that you are important, that you are worthy, and you are wanted. I want you to remember that, okay? Give me your word. Say it. I'm important. I'm worthy. I'm loved. Okay, good job. Now I'm going to start working up here around the sign. I'm going to put a couple of those looks like dried eucalyptus pieces behind. Gonna stand them up back there. I'll add a little glue and put these right on the back of that sign. Y'all could also use a sign from the Dollar Tree to do this, and pumpkins probably from the Dollar Tree. You can do this on a smaller scale. You can do this on a larger scale with even a yard sign if you wanted to. Take the inspiration and make it your own. Now, what you can't see me doing, because I got carried away and forgot to move the camera, is I'm just adding some right underneath the edge of the sign on the top of that other pumpkin. So there's some on the bottom and the top. Now I'm pushing that down into that foam pumpkin. The bow is now on there, pushed straight in. It is holding its own. And I'm just kind of playing with the tails. If you get your bow up there and you decide, you know what, I don't need all these extra tails on this funky bow, just take those ends and roll them under. You see how I'm doing that with my fingers? Roll them under. That's all you have to do. And then you could end up with a bow that's all rolled under, or just 2 tails, or 3 or 4. When you play with it enough, you'll know what I'm talking about. And this is your opportunity. If you want to, have any sticking straight up and you want to trim them down a little, you can do that too. I love making a funky bow as far as a decorative bow because you've got a lot of flexibility and you can hardly mess it up. It's almost foolproof, right? Yes. See, it was driving me nuts. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to cut it straight across, whatever. So I did. And then again, a couple more of those little pieces on the top. It gets to a point where you're doing a craft and you kind of, I've talked about this before, but it's like your intuition kind of kicks in, your creativity kicks in, and you kind of lose track of time, and you just go straight into what you're doing, and you're not paying attention to anything else around you. I bet y'all's husbands and boyfriends and kids just love that, right? Because I know mine do. I know my kids just love it when I'm lost down here. And, an hour will go by, and Mom, where's Mom? It's supper time. Where's the food? Sorry, kids. If y'all watch this in the future, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So now, of course, we want to cover up the back. If you want to take that sticker off, please take the sticker off. It's the time thing with me, so I just left it on there. But I covered it up with some greenery, and now I'm going to add some more leaves right on the top and the back because we don't want anything looking bald. And for me, I would most likely put this on a table that was close to a wall, if it was pushed up against the wall or something like that, because the pretty side is just on one side. But you could do 2 sides back to back, and then you wouldn't have to use the taller greenery, and that would be pretty too. I tucked a couple of more leaves right into the bow, and then decided, you know what, I'm putting a pumpkin on here. So I cut a foam pumpkin in half, and then I put the pieces on top of each other and made a little stack. I took another one of those leaves and just trimmed off a little faux leaf to go on the top, replaced the stem, and put the faux leaf right on top of the little pumpkin stack. So it's a pumpkin stack with a pumpkin stack. Voila! This is how this piece is going to look. I think it's festive and pretty. I think this would look great in your home all the way through fall. I think it would look great on your Thanksgiving table, or maybe your buffet. Maybe on your front porch as your guests come to see you. And you know what? If you don't have family that comes to visit you, that doesn't mean you can't celebrate if that's what you want to do. You can do something special. You're worthy. You're important. You need some joy too, right? Make it for yourself. Have a turkey sandwich. Okay, so now this is a Thanksgiving or fall wreath. I love this, y'all. All right, y'all saw me with my thrifting haul that I did a few months ago. That's where I got that trim from. These are fake leaves from Dollar Tree. They're that faux leather. Then I've got some ribbon that I thrifted. Somebody graciously left plenty on this spool. And here's another sign. I believe it came from the same place, but this one did not have a sign on the back of it, or a tag on the back, I mean. This is a wreath that I have used before. It is just wrapped with a rope. You can have one wrapped with rope, or you can have burlap wrapped. That would be perfectly fine too. Now, I knew I wanted to take the base off of here without breaking the base because I thought that would be great to use on other projects. So I'm going to save the base as best I can by heating this up, trying to loosen the glue a little bit, trying to loosen this in that stand just a little bit with my awl, and I flip it over, do it on the other side. I finally turn it over on my table and whack it with a hammer, and the end came cleanly away. Now it's got a little bit of a rough edge there. You can see where it came from. I'm going to take those nails out because a lot of times they will have nails in there too. So just be careful, don't hurt yourself. And then I'll just sand this down so it's nice and smooth, and there'll be no splinters and no messy looking on the bottom. If you want to go over that with some antiquing wax and let that dry, you can do that too. I just left mine just like it is. So I'll flip my wreath over, and I'm going to take this trim and go around the edge of the back. And I'll just press press the solid piece down so that the loops are going over the edge. And, you know, if you see me do it this way and you like this better than the way that I actually do it, then you can do this in reverse. You could just do the same method on the curved side or the front side of it. You can totally decide. And you can see the difference as I'm gluing it on here. I won't show you the whole process because frankly I'm out of frame. Of course, I mean it wouldn't be one of my videos if you could see everything I was doing, right? Look at that. Why does that remind me of pumpkin pie? I do not know, but that is cute. And it's exactly how I thought it would be. I love it. It is so similar to the color of these faux leather leaves. That just tickled me to death too, because I've been wanting to use these on something this year. So now I know where I want them. I'm just going to lift them up and glue them together. And then I'll do the same thing with the other ones. I'll leave them in the position they're in because I know I like it like that. That's the right position for me. I'm going to cut the little stems off. We don't need those in the way. You grab those off the top. And I guess this would be an oak leaf and a maple leaf. Is that what I'm looking at? For those of you who know your leaves, because apparently I don't know my leaves. I think that's what we're looking at. Okay, so I know I want them like this. I'll hold them where I would like them to stay and flip them over. Then add the glue because I can't see from the front when I'm on the back. But I know where I envisioned them. So I just flipped it over, put the glue on there. And now, when I flip the sign over, they're exactly where I wanted them to be. And all I have to do is kind of get that little barn and the silo just kind of sized up and make sure that they're pretty much in the center. I'll add some glue behind the leaves and press them down. I don't want to press them all the way down because I want them to have a little movement, meaning that they stand out a little bit. Did that make sense to you? You know what I'm saying, right? It's not all curved and glued flat down. Okay, so I'm going to take some of that beautiful ribbon, which matches perfectly with this, and just make a very simple bow to go up there at the top. Bows are not necessary. For those of you who do not want to use a bow, this would be perfect without the bow. Again, I like to give those options for people who want to change it up just a little bit and who enjoy bows at holiday time or just, you know, really like that pretty country look of a bow. I'm just tying it off with some jute, and I'll make a double knot and then cut it off because it's such a light piece of ribbon and a small bow that a little bit of hot glue is all we need to hold that on there. I'm going to cut these at a slant, so no dovetail on this bow. And then I'll just figure out kind of where I want it to be, put a little glue on the back, and push it down in place and just hold it for a minute. Sometimes the bows will, especially wired ribbon bows, will kind of lift up a little bit, and I don't want that to happen, so just being careful. Now I'm going to make some faux tails. I'm just going to take about 8 inches folded over, cut it off, fold the ends together, and then I will cut these into a dovetail. That just gets twice the work done in half the time. Squeeze them on the bottom, add a little bit of hot glue in there. Protect your fingers, everybody. Protect your fingers. And then you can, I'm going to put it, making sure I can put it on the back of the sign, because you got to have something to put the glue on. And I'll just push it up onto the back of the sign, and it will have those little faux tails just poking out. Very cute. It extends that pattern from the top left down into the right corner. And it's just a little something unexpected. Again, feel free to do it your way. If this is not something that you appreciate or enjoy, then you don't have to do it at all. Or you could maybe add another little small bow down there if you would rather do that. Now, just because there's blue on our turkey and there's blue on the baby's dress, I thought, let's just add a little bit of blueberry in there. And there are grapes on the bottom. I don't think you can, yeah, you can see them a little bit. I wanted to add a little blue. So then I'm going to go down here with this faux Dollar Tree pumpkin, and I'm going to carefully just cut this off. I'm not cutting it in half. This is like a slither of it. It's not a lot because I don't want it to stick out too far. I'm going to add just a little bit of glue and press it down over that corner. And then replace the little stem. And then you can do a little leaf there if you want to finish that one off. And you can just hang it from the back, or you can use whatever type of hanger works for you on your door or your wall. This is another thing that would be really pretty, I think, on the porch. If you have a covered porch and you're having guests come over, you could have this, a little table outside, maybe put the other one on the table, have some faux candles out there. It would be very pretty, I think. I just love an old-fashioned Thanksgiving and fall. There's just something about it, and the innocence and the memories of childhood. I just love it. A special thank you to every one of you who are glowing here in my heart. Now this is a Thanksgiving or fall treat jar. Here's some more of that beautiful trim. I'm going to give you two options for this. This is a candle jar. Yes, I took all the paint off the outside. I took all the wax that was left out, cleaned it very well, and saved it. It's a heavy glass jar, and I knew I could use it again. I got a spray bottle that only has water in it, and some of these window clings. They're window clings or glass clings. These came from the Amazon Overstock store, so if you're looking for fall, maybe like a fall cling, and you want to order these, you'll have to do a search on Amazon for fall window clings. Or you can use the ones you get from Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Family Dollar or Walmart, whichever ones that look good to you. I thought these looked great with the colors and the scheme that I already had going, so I thought they would be perfect as well in an old-fashioned theme. I am going to give it a good spray of water, just following their directions here, mist it with water, and then I'm going to find my placement. This is the one I chose. There are a lot of beautiful options here. And I'll just twist this around, lay it down, and where the overhang there from the bottom of that stick or that limb is, I'll be trimming that off. I want to make sure I have plenty of room. You see how easily it slips around there? Pushing the bubbles out. It's thin, so it's nice. It looks almost like this is painted on, and it's got that sort of a watercolor look, which makes it great. Now, if you don't have an old candle jar that you want to recycle, you can use any type of jar that you already have at your house. You can get jars and glasses from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to choose a couple of birds to add on here because it comes in so many different limbs and leaf pieces. You can really customize this to make it your own. And that's why, even though it seems like such an easy thing to do, I had to show y'all that there are so many different ways that you can make it your own for cheap. For cheap, right? I paid $5 at the Amazon Overstock store for this entire pack of these window clings. I sure did. And in the beginning, when I bought it, I thought that it had several of the same page in there until I opened it to get it out and realized, oh my goodness, all of them are different. You may be seeing these again in another video. So I'm just going to add these here and there. And you know, if you got a good jar that you really, really love, you can take these off after fall and you can put Christmas on here. Then you can do Easter on here. Then you can do a happy birthday. Totally up to you. You could do something for Christmas and then put peppermints in here or candy canes, just about the right size for the regular, those short candy canes. That would work too. I also thought when I was making this, if it's on your Thanksgiving table, wouldn't it be a lovely sentiment if you had a pad and a pencil and everybody was to write one thing that they're thankful for this year and then put it in the jar and put the lid on it? Put those at the end of your day, put them in a Ziploc bag, put them away, put them in an envelope, save them for next year, and then next year read what everybody was thankful for the year before. And that would be such a fun thing to do. All right. Now, easy enough. And when you need to add more, you just squirt a little more water on there. And when you are completely done and happy with it, then you can just pat it dry. Now for the lid, you can leave it with nothing on it, or if you would like to, you can take a little bit of that trim and add a little hot glue and put this around the top of it. And so this will overhang the edge of it and give it a little more of a decorative look. You can use rickrack. You can use, if you had, let me think of what else could we use on there. Baker's twine would be pretty. A thin ribbon would be pretty. The trims that you get from Dollar Tree that are that burlap, and some look braided and some are just ornate, that would be pretty. There's lots of things you could do here. Just going to wrap it all the way around, and when I get back to the original spot, I'll trim it off. I'm going to try to make it look as clean and neat as possible. Pick off the spider webs, and then I'm using a little bit of heat to kind of get the spider webs off of there. It'll also help if you have any wrinkles to get the wrinkles out. So mine was set aside to air dry, but I wanted to show you that you can use a cloth and gently just press down. You don't want to rub it because you're going to you'll knock those off. So just pat it dry. Be sure you don't slide anything around, just double check and just be patient. It's a quick craft, I wanted to show you the details of how pretty this is. So I'm just stuffing a cloth in here to show you. Look how pretty. Does that not look like it is hand painted? Like you designed your own little beautiful jar? And of course, if you wanted to do another candle in there, I guess you could, but you wouldn't want the wax getting too close to the plastic part because it might make it kind of melt on the outside. But I'll show you an option if you like the candle idea. Okay, so there it is with the trim on it. If you like that look, there you go. I love the lid on this, the wood with the little handle, so cute. All right, so I'm going to show you this from a couple of different angles. Now, because there was a candle in there, I can still smell it on the lid, the fragrance. It was fresh, clean linen. A DH Homes, I think is what it was. It smells heavenly. I wouldn't want to put anything like crackers or cookies in there, but if it's packaged, that would be fine to put in there. It wouldn't affect the flavor or the taste. So I put a flameless candle in there. You could still do the candle thing. And then I dim the lights just a little bit so you could see what it looks like. I hope you enjoyed this fall and Thanksgiving video. I want you to check out the video in the rectangle here. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you soon. Bye.